Did you enjoy your show today?
Oh, totally. I had so much fun. I was scared shitless. I was completely scared shitless because I didn't know what to expect. I mean, it was the first time I was in a crowd. It wasn't my crowd.
Yeah.
You know, a festival setting, there was a ton of people because I've been playing small clubs.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what they would think. And it turned out great. It was an amazing show. They really dug it. Kids got it.
That's good. Was it feel because now it's really different now from playing with Korn?
Yeah, it is.
I would like to go back to high school.
Okay.
Because you had your first solo stuff as Buck Naked.
Yeah, there was Buck Naked, there was
many names.
Jonathan, there was I did dance music, I did all kinds of stuff. That's when I was 14 years old on up to before I got into Korn, yeah.
Okay, and what songs were you then writing? Was it totally different from nowadays?
Yeah. A lot of stuff I did early on was dance music. And I did a lot of dance music when I was a kid, all electronic, with a lot of different synthesizers. My dad owned a music store, so I get all these new synthesizers, and my job was to go in there and figure it out and show him how to use them. Because he was a keyboard player, but I was playing with all these great synthesizers.
What was the best one then, back then, for you?
I played this thing called a Synergy. I played with the first emulators, which were the first actual samplers with big old floppy disk you had to put in.
All those big ones.
Yeah, I played with all the ARP stuff, 2600, all that stuff came out. Stuff that all the electronic guys now use today, they're vintage stuff.
Okay.
But at that time for me, it was new. Okay. I was just a little kid, just horsing around having fun. So that stuff was like that, and then I got more into band stuff with actual band later on.
Yeah, because I heard that the first instrument that you got was drum.
Yeah, drums.
Who influenced you then playing drums?
I just did myself.
So now big names, big sets. You tell.
My dad was a musician, and I started playing when I was 3. I got my first drum set when I was 3 years old, and I started gigging with my dad when I was 5. I actually could play them, and I played a couple songs with him when he played in nightclubs and stuff. They'd let me in, and they got a kick.
What age were you then?
I was 5.
5
and 6. So I was playing drums at that age, really playing. My mom told me and my grandmother told me that I used to get a milk crate when they had milk crates back in the day. I'd stand up with a drumstick and they'd put on classical music, and I'd stand on that thing and just conduct orchestras when I was 1. Okay. I was totally just drawn towards music like crazy.
And then your first song that you said, well, hey, this is actually something I'm proud of. Do you recall? Because when you started that early and then you were into dance music,
I had so many. I don't really have one. I don't know. It was
outtakes, and maybe you will release within 10 years.
No, that I was really most of those songs I lost. They were all on tape, and it was been so long ago because that's when you used tape back then. That the tracks got ate or they got demolished to my dad's studio when they knocked it down. So I lost all my early old stuff. It's a shame because I would love to go in and remix that shit and put it out just for fun, But I lost a lot of that stuff. But I remember I did some stuff. I used to sell them on cassettes at high school.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I had a song that I put out on the radio at a college radio station there. Some of my early stuff. And I've lost all that shit too. You can find it on the internet. It's called What I've Done. Yeah. And it's out there if you could find it.
Okay. Well then, I think you also you played in many bands, I think. But let's focus on Sexart. Was it?
Sexart. That was my first real band. That was fun. It was good. It was it's where I got in a band that really started to learn how to sing and trying to find my vocal style. I never wanted to be a singer. I just opened my mouth one day at a practice, and they're like, "Dude, you should sing. You're the singer."
Why did they tell you?
Because I said I had a good voice. I was like, "You sure?" Yeah. You're the singer. And so I'm like, okay. And that was Buck Naked, and that lasted for 2 weeks. And then the players that were in Buck Naked turned into Sexart more. Okay. And then I got some additional players, and then we started writing songs and gigging around town. And that band was fun at that time. I had a lot of fun, and that's where I found myself.